are these people living on? What world do they reside in? What can possibly be going through their mind when coming up with these lists? Boy Room, Kevin Durant's media company, puts out a top 5 most marketable WNBA players entering this season. Caitlin Clark, not only is she not number 1 on this list, she's not even number 2 on this list.
A major sports media company just released its ranking of the most marketable WNBA players, and fans immediately exploded after seeing Caitlin Clark nowhere near the top spot. Not even number 2. That was all the internet needed to start cooking the list. Even more shocking, Caitlin Clark fans and Angel Reese fans actually agreed on something for once. They both thought the rankings made no sense. And when two rival fan bases unite to call out the same list, you know the backlash is serious. The rankings came from Boardroom, the media platform connected to Kevin Durant. Their goal was supposed to be simple: rank the players bringing the most attention to the WNBA through jersey sales, media buzz, fan engagement, and overall business impact. This was not about championships or basketball skills. It was strictly about one thing: which players are truly driving the league's popularity right now?
If you live in the real world, if you reside in reality, if your head isn't in the clouds, if you aren't off a little bit, how do you come to a conclusion where Caitlin Clark is not the most marketable player in the WNBA entering this season?
Boardroom's answer to that question surprised almost everyone. They placed A'ja Wilson at number 1, Paige Bueckers at number 2, and filled out the rest of the rankings from there. Meanwhile, the player many fans believe completely changed the league's popularity was pushed far down the list instead of leading it. That is where the outrage really started. People could not understand how a ranking focused on marketability seemed to overlook the player generating the biggest headlines, the biggest ratings, and the most attention around the WNBA, right?
Do you know how bad a list must be when you have Caitlin Clark fans and Angel Reese fans teaming up like the Bloods and the Crips, joining forces to attack a common enemy? That's how bad this list is, folks. It's got Caitlin Clark fans and Angel Reese fans joining forces in the comments, trashing this list from top to bottom.
The internet wasted no time reacting. The comment section quickly turned into something nobody expected. Caitlin Clark fans and Angel Reese fans, two groups that usually argue about everything, suddenly found themselves agreeing for once. Instead of attacking each other, they were both criticizing the same ranking. That alone showed how disconnected many people felt the list was. When rival fan bases come together over the same complaint, you know the backlash has reached another.
And they put out a top 5 most marketable WNBA players entering the season. Number 1, you have A'ja Wilson. Other than agenda, other than message, other than pushing her because she's a melanated individual, can anyone tell me why she's on top of this list? Seriously?
Let's start with the decision to put A'ja Wilson at number 1, because that is where most of the debate began. Nobody is denying her greatness on the court. She has MVPs, championships, and every major accomplishment a player could want. But this ranking was not supposed to be about basketball talent. It was supposed to be about marketability. Who brings attention, boosts ratings, sells merchandise, and attracts new fans to the league? That is why many fans questioned the choice. Nike invested heavily into A'ja Wilson's signature shoe launch, expecting it to become a major success story for the WNBA. But critics online pointed out that the shoes quickly started appearing at discount retailers and outlet stores, which they argued does not match the profile of the league's most marketable star. For many people, marketability is not just about getting big endorsement deals. It is about whether the audience responds and whether the product actually sells. That is where the controversy exploded. Fans looked at television ratings, jersey sales, social media attention, and overall buzz around the league, then compared that to the rankings. Many came away feeling the list was focused more on narrative than on actual business impact.
Paige Bueckers. Now, Paige Bueckers on this list, 2 or 3 is right for Paige. 2 or 3 is right. I mean, is she even more marketable than Sabrina? Like, is she more marketable than Sabrina? I know she gets pushed more than Sabrina, but is she actually more marketable than Sabrina? Probably not, actually.
Then there is the decision to place Paige Bueckers at number 2. Paige is absolutely talented, and she built a huge following during her college career. She has star potential and a loyal fan base, but many people questioned whether that automatically makes her the second most marketable player in the WNBA right now. Critics argued that while Paige is very popular among dedicated women's basketball fans, her impact on the broader sports audience has not yet reached the level of some other stars already established in the league. That is why many fans pointed to Sabrina Ionescu as a stronger choice. Sabrina's Nike shoe line has become one of the most respected basketball sneakers on the market, with NBA players regularly wearing them during games. That matters because it shows real demand beyond WNBA circles. Her merchandise sells, her brand continues to grow, and the New York Liberty consistently draws strong attendance numbers and major television audiences. For a lot of fans, those are the things that define true marketability: merchandise sales, ratings, mainstream visibility, and overall fan interest. That is why so many people felt the rankings overlooked key evidence when comparing players.
Caitlin Clark can have the worst possible season in the history of the WNBA. And do you want to know something that's crazy? Heading into next year, she will still be the most marketable player entering the season.
Now let's get to the numbers that many fans believe the rankings completely ignored. Because when people talk about true marketability, they point directly to the data. For years, WNBA television ratings struggled to consistently reach even 500,000 viewers. That changed dramatically in 2024. The WNBA draft drew massive attention, pulling in millions of viewers and becoming one of the most watched events in league history. Then regular season ratings jumped as well, with games suddenly reaching numbers the league had not seen in decades. Many fans believe one player was the biggest reason for that explosion in interest. The same thing happened with attendance. The Indiana Fever quickly became the hottest ticket in the league, both at home and on the road. Opposing teams started moving games to larger arenas, ticket prices surged, and Fever games became must-watch events across the country. That kind of impact is rare in professional sports, especially from a single player entering the league. Jersey sales tell a similar story. The Fever star has consistently sat at the top of the WNBA merchandise charts, leading the league in jersey sales and driving huge demand online and in stores. Fans argue that this is one of the clearest measurements of marketability possible because it reflects people spending their own money to support a player. Social media numbers added even more debate to the rankings. Angel Reese has built one of the largest online followings in women's basketball, with millions of followers and major engagement across platforms. That led many fans to question why some players with smaller audiences ranked above her on a list supposedly measuring business impact and visibility. Then there is the financial side of the league itself. For years, conversations around the WNBA focused on losses and limited growth, but the recent surge in attention, ratings, sponsorships, and ticket demand changed the entire business conversation. Many fans believe the popularity brought by stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese helped push the league into a completely different financial era, which is why debates around revenue sharing and future player earnings have become so much bigger now. Many fans believe the league's entire business momentum changed because of two players in particular. Yet one of them was pushed far down the rankings, while the other did not even appear on the list at all. That is why so many people questioned whether the rankings were truly measuring marketability. Critics pointed to major brand partnerships as proof. Wilson Sporting Goods chose Caitlin Clark for a signature basketball collaboration. despite having every star in the WNBA available. Fans saw that as a clear business decision based on who currently drives the most demand. Gatorade also gave Clark her own exclusive flavor partnership, something usually reserved for athletes with massive mainstream appeal. Supporters argue those types of deals speak louder than any media ranking ever could. The backlash grew because people started comparing the rankings to the actual numbers. Television ratings, attendance, jersey sales, sponsorships, and social media engagement. Many felt the evidence pointed overwhelmingly in one direction, yet the rankings told a completely different story. That led some fans to accuse media outlets and league-connected platforms of trying to spread attention across multiple stars instead of acknowledging who currently dominates the business side of the sport. Others also pointed out names like Cameron Brink and Sophie Cunningham, arguing they have major crossover appeal and strong social media influence that was ignored completely. To many readers, the rankings felt less like a reflection of the real marketplace and more like an attempt to shape a certain narrative around the league. At the end of the day, fans believe the market itself gives the clearest answer. Ticket sales, TV ratings, merchandise demand, and brand partnerships all reveal which athletes are bringing the most attention to women's basketball right now. That is why this ranking created such a strong reaction online, with many people calling it one of the most disconnected